Hello, everyone. My name is Matthew Kinch. I am about to graduate law school. I have when this is posted, I have like 2 weeks left of law school. Thankfully, I already passed the bar, Vermont's bar. I am, by the grace of God and through hours and hours and hours of studying, I passed. I'm making this video. It's going to be very informal. I want it to be a mere conversation rather than all of these instructions and whatnot on what you have to do, what you don't have to do. I am just going to tell you what worked well for me, what didn't work well for me when I was prepping for the bar, and what ultimately made me pass the bar again through the grace of God. Um, so let's get started. You may notice glasses on my face. These are not actual glasses. They're the blue light glasses. I would highly, highly, highly recommend picking up a pair. I got the Felix Grays. They're great. Um, and let me tell you, so, most bar exams right now are online. You're staring at a screen every single day for an extended period of time. And prior to getting these glasses, I would always have headaches, and afterwards, everything worked, everything clicked, and I no longer had head pains, and it just worked out well. And I'm just as I look up, I have like an outline that I just want to make sure I hit all the points. So, general tip number one: get blue light glasses. General tip number two: treat bar prep like it's a job, meaning be in a routine. So essential. So for me, what I did was every day I woke up at 5:30, hit the gym for 5:45, 6 o'clock, crush an elite workout, and then I went on 30-minute walk just to clear my head and get my mind straight. By the time I sat down in the office, it'd be around maybe 9 a.m., 8:30, 9 a.m. And I would study for 8, 9, sometimes 10 hours a day, depending on the material I needed to focus on. And that was enough. That was enough if I did that Monday through Friday. Um, Up until around, I'd say 3, 4 weeks out, I started studying on the weekend. But 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 before that, I did not study on the weekend. I prepped around 50 hours a week, and then once we were in the month of February, I ramped that up and was studying full time on the weekends as well. So, when people say I'm going to get after it 80 hours a week for 2, 3 months straight, tell them they're ridiculous. Really, bar prep is about quality and not quantity. I'll focus more on that point in a little bit, but the secret sauce is to not burn out right away. You probably will burn out, but leave that towards the end. Leave that towards the final stretch, and make sure that when you're putting in these hours early on, um, it's not as crazy on the brain as the final few weeks will be. So personally, I just did Monday through Friday, 8 to 10 hours a day, and 3, 4 weeks out of the exam, I started doing weekends as well, Saturdays, Sundays. So it was around the clock thing. Um, but that's what worked for me. But if you disagree, you're entitled to your own opinion and do what works for you. That's what worked for me. Next on the list, journal tips: do something every day that makes you happy and relaxed. For me, it was working out and playing Call of Duty. Um, and on the weekends, when, as I mentioned, I didn't really study on the weekends, um, up until for 3, 4 weeks out. But I skied every weekend. I was active. I was outside getting those vitamins in and just making sure that my body was right. So do something that makes you happy, micro things every day, and maybe every so often, maybe once every other week, take a half a day, take a day to do something that you thoroughly will enjoy. It'll just shut your brain off from the studying. It goes such a long way. I promise you that. And I kind of already mentioned this, but eat well, eat very well, and exercise frequently. That is so important to your body and to just the whole process of absorbing so much information. Um, I cut alcohol out a month and a half out, or like a month out. It was at least 4 weeks, and I was waking up feeling really good the next day, ready to get after it, and it just really helps. Like there's been studies to show that alcohol affects your memorization and studying like that. So I just decided to just cut it out because with the bar exam, you want to be one and done. You do not want to fail it the first time and then have to do it again. I promise you, once is enough. So all the folks that are prepping for the July exam, just lock and load, laser focus this time around, so you will not have to see it again in the future. So those are my general tips. Now let's get into the nitty gritty um, because I wish some of the things that I realized along the way, I wish someone told me. Well, actually, someone did tell me. Shout out to Moses Benson. He told me this, and it changed the way I was studying, and it really went a long way. And I was like a month out. So let me first tell you what I used. I used Barbary, um, and I used their bar prep. It's included in my law school's tuition, so that's what I used. And for the most part, it was fantastic. It was fantastic. So what are the pros of Barbary? It provides a schedule that is very thorough. Like you have to do X, Y, and Z today. Tomorrow you'll do this, blah 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 blah, and they send you like 7, 8 books full of rich information. And I personally love Barbary. However, the only con, in my opinion, about Barbary is the fact that they are a little too thorough. Meaning, um, what stressed me out about Barbary was the fact that you'd go online, okay, log in, and then immediately you'll see you have 9 hours worth of assignments today. I'm just like, oh my gosh, like that's so stressful. Um, and it is stressful. And if and I started earlier too, so some folks might have seen 10 hours. Some folks may have seen 11 hours. So I'm just like, oh my gosh, like there's so much to do, so little time to do it. And that's where I think Barbary is flawed, where it tells you have this many hours to do this many assignments. It'll take you all day, yada yada yada. Well, for me, when I started, so when Barbie does that, it opens up the gate and it opens up the opportunity to just start going through the motions rather than sitting back and absorbing the information they're trying to tell you, especially when you're on the lecture segments of things. Um, so I found myself month and a half out. I take the Barbary uh, simulated MBE, which is 200 multiple choice questions, and I receive a 95. What does that tell you? Well, one, that tells you that, well, it told me I'm going to fail the bar if I don't change something. And I need to do it really fast. So for me, I was doing all the assignments, right? I was doing all the assignments every single day that Barbie told me to do. But I found myself just going through the motions rather than sitting back, absorbing the material, learning the rules, learning the rules. That is the most important thing that you need to take out of this video. It is crucial to learn and memorize the rules. When you're going through bar prep, right? When you're going through bar prep, I don't. I imagine every test prep company is like this. They're just gonna spit information at you, spit information. You're gonna have so much to do. You're getting assignments left and right. Things are all buck wild. You don't know what's going on. Your hair's on fire. Whatever the case may be, you have to remember that do not go through the motions just merely to get through the assignments. Okay. You have to ensure yourself that you know the rules. You memorized the rules. And I realized this a little over a month away from the bar exam, and I started going all buck wild, started freaking out, not knowing what to do. And I honestly thought I was doomed. But there is a solution. You may see it in the back. I have the whoop, that's a receipt. I have the critical pass. This is for the MEE, and then back there is for the MBE, the critical pass flashcards. These saved my entire life. Honest to God, um, I I bought them on the website, Critical Pass's website, and let me tell you, I'll provide an example of how good the Critical Pass flashcards are. Um, Secure transactions, for example, is a potential topic on the MEE. I didn't take secure transactions at all. And to be quite frank, because I was so busy memorizing the rules, I never got to that lecture in Barbary. So the only exposure I had to secure transactions on the bar exam, or or rather the topic of secure transactions, was through the critical pass flashcards. I think there's like 25 flashcards. I memorized them. And what do you know? On the bar exam, there's an MEE question on secure transactions. And what happened? I crushed it because I memorized the rules and I felt comfortable enough to answer the question, and it went well. I mean, I passed. It went well, and that just goes to show how elite Critical Pass is. So with the Barbary and with the Critical Pass, I combined those two, and it really, really, really helped me. But if you only get one thing out of this video, it's please memorize the rules, please understand the rules, please understand how everything works together. um, and through Barbary and Critical Pass, I was able to like do like an 11th hour, like 11th hour understanding of how just things clicked, and it just all made sense. And I felt ready. I felt ready on the bar exam, for the bar exam rather. And another thing I want to mention is most bar exams now are online. Okay, I don't know when exactly things will get back to normal, where the states will require you to take the bar exam in person, but for the time being, uh, it's online. And what does that mean? You're no longer going to your law school, taking a live class. You're no longer seeing most of your classmates. So, what I highly recommend you doing is forming a study group, okay? One of my best friends, Matthew Gately, and I, we met every single day for a month and a half straight for 4 hours, okay? I told you I studied from like 8 to 10 hours a day. 4, maybe 5 hours of that day was with Matt, and we were answering questions. We are going over topics, um, whether it was MBE or MEE topics. We went over everything, and we were all about the quality of time together, and it worked out. So why do I tell you that? Please form a study group and please be productive. If and again, that's what worked for me. Some people are solos and they just like to grind it out themselves. But but for me, if it wasn't for Matt, I wouldn't have passed the bar exam. Shout out to Matt Gately, by the way. He also passed. So we did something right. We answered so many multiple choice questions. We went over so many essays, and there's real benefit. There is real benefit when working with others while prepping for the bar. Um, a lot of the videos that I've seen, they don't really mention that. I don't know why, but it is so crucial, at least in my opinion, that you have a study buddy or a study group that you can really just talk things through with. Um, for me, I learn through talking things through, and I learn in groups and people talking to me. At the same time, I can question what they say, and we can just talk things through. Whatever works for you, but for me, that's what worked well. So now let's kind of go over let's go over like the weeks, the like 3-4 weeks before the bar exam, because I really do think that's important as well. Um, so in terms of like practice questions, and so there's a lot of, so I've read a lot of threads of people who just like do like 100 multiple choice questions every day for 45 days straight, and I think that's an overkill. Um, because I really do think that, kind of like the LSAT, right? You're not going to do a practice test every day until you take the LSAT. You need to work with the material and understand the rules and things of that nature. And then you take a practice test to see how you're doing. And then you take like a simulated, maybe 50 question multiple choice to see how you're doing. And that's what I did. So after I was after I received the score of 95 on a simulated 200 question MBE, I was like, oh my gosh, like things need to change. So I went back to the drawing board. Okay, I already told you that. I went back to the drawing board and I said, all right, I need to drill these rules in my head, and I need to do it fast. So that's what I did. And I think like a week later, I took another, like 100 question MBE, and I received maybe like a 63 out of 100. I'm like, all right, let's go. Like that's where I need to be, kind of. Every state's different, but I was like, that's very promising. This is working. So from there, after I I became comfortable enough in my MBE score, um, I started working on the essays. I think the essays are easy points if you understand the structure properly. Um, I did a simple IRAC, okay, and that worked well for me. If you don't know what IRAC is, first headings, right? You always want to put headings. So I put my heading, and then I just crushed IRACs. I crushed IRACs through the entire 6 MEEs that I had, and I mean it worked. It worked out for me. So you state the issue, you state the rule that because you were studying your rules through critical pass, and then you make the analysis. Here, blah 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 blah. You use the rule and extract the facts from the fact pattern, combine them together, and you lock in and you make a killer analysis. And then you gently conclude and go on to your next MEE. And so Barbary sends you, get this, Barbary sends you a book that is just all straight up MEE questions on every single topic. I went through the entire book, okay? I went through the entire book and I studied because that also helps you study the rules, because they utilize the rules in their sample answers. Because not only do they have questions, they have sample answers for you. and that helps you study the rules as well. But I went through every single MEE in that book, okay? And I was just understanding how they're extracting the facts, how they're utilizing the rules, their format, everything. And that really, really helped me out with the MEEs. Really helped me out. Barbary has you submit a few MEEs, and I did okay on them, but towards the end, I was just crushing them because Matt and I, my study partner, we would crush like towards the end, like 4 or 5 MEEs a day, and we were just getting after it. We were doing multiple choice, like a hot 20, multiple choice MBE on any topic regarding what's on the MBE, and then we would do like 5 MEEs, and we were just getting after it. We were collaborating, we were talking things through, and it was great. So that's what you really need to do. So I know this is like all over the place, right? But if you were to just skip this video and watch the conclusion, it'd be this. Step one, when you're going through bar prep, when you're going through all the material and relearning the material, or maybe even seeing it for the first time, don't go through the content just to get through it. Go through it and learn it. Take the time, slow down, and learn the rules. That is so important because it's really easy to just go through the motion, and towards the end you're like, oh my god, I don't know any of the rules, right? So slow down. It's okay, because if you slow down and learn the rules, it'll pay off in the back end. So step one, when you're going through the material, don't just go through it to go through it. You go through it to learn the rules, to memorize the rules, to understand the rules, okay? So once you have that broad foundation of all the MBE, MEE topics, then you start locking in and doing more multiple choice. Like I said, don't do 100 a day. No need for that. Just like if you're struggling in an area, just do some questions, regarding that area. But no need for overkill. Um, and work on those essays, work on formatting, work under time conditions, right? For the essays, for the multiple choice as well. But one thing that I must say when you're going through the MEEs um, on game day, um, it's really easy just to get like caught down a rabbit hole, and you're scrambling to answer one question in like 5 minutes. So like if you practice the timing, right? If you practice the timing during prep, you're going to have a better understanding of how you work, because you have 90 minutes to do 3 MEEs, 90 minutes to do 3 MEEs. So maybe do that under time conditions. Like it just all comes together at once. And it's just like the bars, 2 days just flies by. Okay. Flies by. So step two, practice those multiple choice skills, practice those essays on the MEEs, um, and really like just make sure you have, if you have 80% of the material just absorbed in your head, you're gonna be fine. Shoot for 80%, but after time, you're gonna realize you know a lot more than you think. Okay. Um, do I have anything to say about the MPTs? Let me see. Again, practice the MPTs. To be quite frank, I didn't spend as much time on the MPTs. I think I did maybe 4 to 5 of them through my entire prep. That's because I was trying to play catch up, learning all the rules and stuff and memorizing the rules. Would I have wanted to spend more time on the MPTs? I'd say yes, to make myself feel better after the exam and during the exam. But I messed up at the start of my bar prep, and I didn't memorize the rules as much as I should. So, I should have spent more time on the MPTs. I'm being honest, but it's not the end of the world. I think it's like 20% of the aggregate score. So yeah, I mean, those are all the tips I have. I might be forgetting stuff, but this should be a baseline. This should be something that you just listen to, maybe before bar prep, just some things to keep in mind. But please let me know in the comments if you have any questions. I'm more than willing to help out. But if you're taking the bar this July or even in the future, I wish you nothing but the best. It's a very stressful time for sure, but honestly, you've been through 1L. I'm assuming, unless you're someone from suits, but regardless, you've been through 1L. You know how stressful of an environment the law is. But if you just lock in for these 2.5, 3 months, 2 months, however long you're studying for, and you eat healthy, you exercise, you have a nice routine, you memorize the rules, and you just practice, 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 I think you should be good. Have confidence in yourself. Have confidence in yourself. It's really easy to lose confidence through bar prep, but every day, just imagine yourself um, sitting at home one day, opening up your email and saying you passed the bar. Imagine where you want to be, dream about where you want to be, and take the steps to get there because you want to be one and done with this thing. So, with that being said, again, if you have any questions, let me know. But with that being said, I will conclude this episode and I wish you nothing but the best. Thank you.